Hi, this is A New Nigeria with Wale Oluwade. This is your current affairs program where we critically examine the strategic issues bedeviling Nigeria's developmental aspirations and boldly offer simple, practical, but audacious ideas on building the Nigeria of our collective desires. On today's episode of the program, I will continue with the episode I did last week where I discussed with my guest, Prince Malik Ado Ibrahim, on the situation in our power sector. So we'll take a deeper dive into the source of energy mix, especially our focus, our negative focus on gas as a solution, to our energy availability and sufficiency. How that has caused, a lot of problems, for that sector, and why it has led to where we are today with little or no electricity availability in the country. So we'll take this short break, and when I return, I'll get right into that conversation. Please stay with us. Welcome back. So, like I said today, we're looking at strategies for power availability and sufficiency in Nigeria, part 4, practical steps to increasing electricity distribution to homes and businesses. This slide speaks about global sources of electricity. We touched on it last episode where I did mention that we can see coal contributing for 35% of global electricity production. So most countries of the world rely on coal, and you will see that in fuller details shortly. And then natural gas, 22.2%, hydro, 15.2%, nuclear, 9.2%, wind, 7.5%, solar, 4.5%, other fossil, fuels, 3%, bioenergy, 2.5%, and then other renewables, 0.4%. Now, this slide is very interesting because it shows the coal consumption by countries. What different countries consume in terms of coal. What the 10 major countries or 10 major coal consuming countries, this is what they consume. China consumes 4 trillion. China alone consumes 4.3 trillion, millions metric tons, cubic feet of coal per annum, representing a staggering 50.5% of total world share. And each Chinese consumes 3,081 cubic feet per capita. So China alone consumes well over 50% of the entire coal produced in the world, followed by India with 966 billion, cubic feet, millions cubic feet of coal, or 11.3% of the entire global production of coal. The United States of America, 731 million, millions cubic feet of coal, or 8.5%, and on it goes. Germany, Russia, Japan, South Africa, South Korea, Poland, and Australia. But I want us to focus on China. This previous slide I just showed you on what China consumes per annum. What is the significance? In fact, not just China, the top 10 countries, what is the significance of this information? So here is it. Countries with largest installed capacity of coal power plants globally. So that quantum of coal consumption by those countries, what are they using it for? That's the natural question from that slide. This quantum of huge coal, China, India, America, South Korea, South Africa, Germany, Australia. What are they using that level of coal? What are they using it for? Especially considering the level of the impact of contribution of greenhouse gases to the ozone depletion and all of that. So what are they using it for? Now, countries with the largest installed capacity of coal power plants globally as of July 2023, July last year. So invariably, the reason why these 10 countries consume that much level, that quantum of coal, is because of electricity. China produces, as we speak, almost 3 million megawatts of electricity, or you say 3 terawatts of electricity, or you say 3,000 gigawatts of electricity. Now, half of that Half of what China produces in electricity, over half of it is due to coal. You'll see it shortly. So this is what China generates from coal in its electricity sector, 1.1 million megawatts of electricity. India uses the coal, generates 235 megawatts, 235,000 megawatts or 235 gigawatts of electricity from coal. Almighty America. Now, these are the countries that are all over the place driving this whole talk about, abandoning, fossil fuels to power, to generate electricity, that we should move away from that to renewables. But guess what they are doing? This is India. America still uses coal to generate 205,000 megawatts of electricity. Japan, 54,000 megawatts of electricity. South Africa, 43,000. Indonesia, 45,000 megawatts of electricity from coal. 38,000 for Russia. 39,000 megawatts from South Korea. In fact, from South Africa, what they generate from coal in the electricity sector is over 70% of their total production of energy. Likewise, in South Korea, it's almost 60%. Now, let's look at China. This is more revealing. This reveals quite a lot. The Chinese electricity sector, this is it. This is the energy mix for the Chinese energy sector. Distribution of electricity generation in China in 2022 by source. So from coal, China generates 63%, which is what I said here. Hydro only gives them 14% from the dams. Wind only gives them 9%. Nuclear, just 5% contribution to their entire electricity stock. Solar, only 5%. Gas, that's the thermal. That is what we rely on here, only 3%. And bioenergy, that's other renewables, just 1%. Let me say this again. This is very key. Of the entire 3 terawatts or 3 million megawatts of electricity that China generates annually, 63% of it is from coal. 63% of what China generates from electricity is from coal, 63%. Hydro from water dam is just 14%. Wind, 9%. Now, these are all renewable. Nuclear, 5%. Solar, 5%. Gas, 3%. Bioenergy, 1%. Why is this important? Why did I put this slide here? Why is this slide very key? China, from a slide in the previous episode, China is the #1 manufacturing hub in the world, contributing out of the top 10 manufacturing countries of the world. China contributes 28% of the global manufacturing. China contributes 28% of global manufacturing. That is why China is referred to as the manufacturing capital of the world, followed only by America with a distant, from a distant 16%. Why is China able to be the manufacturing hub of the world? This is the answer here. Because the challenges the rest of the world faces in terms of technology and all of that, China does not have that challenge. You know why? Number one, they have cheap labor. That is one key advantage China brings to global manufacturing that makes them an attraction for businesses to go to China to manufacture. Cheap labor. Secondly, and very key, cost of production, which is basically cost of energy. They don't depend on gas. You'll see the next slide. Nigeria depends solely. 80% of our electricity is based on gas turbines. And that is why we have problems with this, availability of gas. We've had a running battle between the generating companies, GenCos, and the gas suppliers on availability of gas, on payment of gas. China does not have that problem because China only relies on 3% of gas for its electricity. This is pretty stunning to me. The manufacturing hub of the world, China, does not depend on this expensive gas to power its industries. And that is why it has made huge, GDP growth, huge advances in GDP, in the growth and prosperity of its economy over the decades. While we are here in Nigeria, accepting the lie from, our partners, foreign partners, telling us to abandon, reliance on fossil fuel based to supply, power. Last year, remember, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu took an entourage of 1,400 to COP27 in Dubai to go sign on that, yes, we're going to dump reliance on fossil fuel to power our energy and migrate to renewables. When we haven't done anything, we haven't built anything, we don't have any economy to rely on. But this is what China is doing. And this is what America, India, Japan, this is what they're all doing. Still, all of them are still relying on coal to drive their industrialization. While we are moving away, we're being advised to move away, from it. I just thought this shows the reason why we need, when I keep harping on the need for smart people to man these critical agencies of government, this slide, this presentation today brings that home very starkly, very poignantly. How did anybody ever convince Nigeria to abandon our own huge reserves of coal and rely, on gas as the mainstay of our electricity, plan going forward? With all the associated challenges, as we can see, there is practically no light anywhere in Nigeria in the last few months. And I spoke to a senior staff of the Abuja Disco just yesterday, and he was telling me, sir, we're waiting for rain to begin. Until rain begins to fall and then the dams have water, nothing is going to happen. How did anybody convince Nigeria to abandon our own coal reserves? This is what the world is doing. This is what China is doing. To be competitive, to be at the top, to be the leading country in manufacturing. But we have abandoned our own coal to depend on just one source of, to power our electricity sector. I just thought to show this very, poignant information here. These are all the about 26 or thereabouts, maybe roughly 30 generating companies. Here they are, the list of all the generating companies. Guess what? Just like I said, they are all thermal. Just this hydro, thermal, all through thermal. So almost 80% of all these generating companies they are thermal, meaning they rely on gas. And like we said in the first episode, last week, the gas is in the southern part of Nigeria, in the Niger Delta. So how we expect to transport gas to all these thermal plants in the western part of Nigeria, in the eastern parts, even all to the way, all over, all through to the northern part of Nigeria. But the problem, like I said, is why this over-reliance on thermal? Why? That's a big question. So I'll take this short break, and when I return, we'll continue with the presentation. Please stay with me. Welcome back. So, what am I projecting? What are my suggestions going forward for Nigeria? This is what I'm suggesting. In the previous episode, I said we should reduce gas to 40, but upon further information, I've actually revised this downward. We should depend less on gas. We should reduce gas to 30%. Focus more on solar. So we should not increase because I don't even think we're doing anything in solar. So we should aggressively begin, a solar production of electricity, solar generation of electricity in Nigeria. And by the way, yesterday I saw video on television where the vice president, the minister for power, and I think a couple of Shiroro Energy, Shiroro Hydro Power Company, decided to build a 20 megawatt solar power plant. 20. 20 megawatts, you heard me right, 20 megawatts solar power plant. And we had the Vice President of Nigeria, Alhaji Kashim Shettima, the Minister for Power, Adebayo Adelabu, in that team where that agreement was being signed just yesterday. Today is 20th, yesterday was 19th. And I said to myself, why are we like this in this country? Why this embarrassment? The Vice President of Nigeria sat down with the minister in a group photo session where people were signing 20 megawatts of solar power. Now, I don't just criticize without offering a counter suggestion. 20 megawatts of electricity is ridiculous for a vice president to be in that room. 20 megawatts of electricity, to me, is what every local government in Nigeria should be doing. So we have 774 local governments in Nigeria. Think with me for a minute. If each of those local governments commits to doing 20 megawatts in the next 12 months, Nigeria would have in 1 year 15,000 megawatts of electricity. If the president and the vice president and all the 36 state governors and all the 774 local governments gather together in a room and commit to that, that would make sense to me. Than for the presidency, represented by the vice president, the minister for power, to sit together in a place where they're signing 20 megawatts of solar electricity generation. That's a disgrace to Nigeria. That's a disgrace. And I think it's about time we get serious as a nation. How long are we going to continue like this? Making ourselves the laughingstock of the world. I think we need to get serious in this country and do big things and quit doing small stuff. The local governments have allocations every month. If I were the president, I would sit down, like I said, with the governors and the 36 state governors and the 774 local government chairmen. Sit down with them and tell them, for the next 1 year, I'm taking your allocation, local governments. We're going to build 20 megawatts in each of the 774 local governments in Nigeria. That's what we're going to do. And with that single move, we would achieve 15,000 megawatts of electricity from solar. And if we had that, the over-reliance and over-dependency on gas would be gone. Even if we didn't achieve 15,000, because of course some local governments have issues, maybe insecurity or there are no local government chairmen there, we would have 10,000. As against the less than 2,000 that we have currently, because I believe strongly, I'm not even sure we're distributing 2,000 in Nigeria today, of 2,000 megawatts of electricity. So we need to get serious as a country. So after solar, we also do hydro. So we have Shiroro, we have Gurara hydropower, we have Kainji hydropower. Of course, like I said, the dams are not maintained. The dams are waiting for rainfall before we begin to have, and as they say on social media, who do us like this? How are we like this? So we need to get serious with hydro. And then we need to get serious with coal. That's what the previous slide, two slides showed. We need to get serious with coal. We have coal in abundance in Enugu, in Anambra, and a couple of other states. Approximately 3 billion, deposits of coal in Nigeria. We need to tap into that resources and get our electricity, ramped up to appreciable level. If we do this, what I'm saying here, a little bit of wind, and reduce self-generation, we can attain 30,000 megawatts in the next 10 years, if we're serious as a nation. Because we need to quit, worshipping at the altar of small gods. We've been doing small things in this country, pandering to mediocrity and sheer incompetence, lack of vision, lack of boldness of imagination. We need to stop that and begin to do big stuff. And we need to begin, with the electricity sector. As a roundup, this is just a conclusion of what I just said. This is the map of Nigeria. So this over-reliance of our electricity sector on thermal, which is gas. There was the previous map we showed in last episode. All over Nigeria, what we have is gas-powered turbines. We can't continue like that. That's not what China is doing. That's not what America does. None of the top producing manufacturing companies of the countries of the world, that's not what they do. They have, an effective energy mix, an effective and efficient energy mix that is not dependent on gas, because gas has huge global implication of costs, of pricing. Whatever happens in the global market affects gas pricing, supplies of gas. As you can see in Nigeria, vandals go and break gas pipelines. There's a long-running battle between gencos and gas suppliers of debt over almost $2 billion US. All of that is affecting availability of electricity in Nigeria. We can't continue that way. So this is what I'm suggesting. We can have solar from the northwest, north central, and northeast of Nigeria. We can have hydro. This is Niger State. So we can have hydro from Shiroro, from Gurara, from Kanji. This is Taraba, Mambila Power. We need to get back to Mambila Power. We spent $5 billion on Mambila, and we never got anything. And people are working free. Every industrialized society, every civilized nation, the first thing that is noticeable is that there's availability of electricity. You go into any country, they don't have electricity. That's a backward society. And sadly, that's where we are. That's where we've been. In the 21st century, the year of the Lord 2024, it breaks my heart, that we're nowhere to be found. We can't get something as basic, something as mundane, as simple as electricity generation, transmission, and distribution right. We need to get serious. So I will take this short break, and when I come back, I'll give my closing statements. Please stay with me. Welcome back. And here are my closing statements. Now, why do I do this program? I do this because of love of country, period. And I guess that makes me a patriot. Now, who is a patriot? A patriot is one who does whatever to make their country a better place than when they met it. And this is a quality that is very rare amongst those who govern this country. Here's the issue. My critique of incompetent political leadership and our Guinness Book of World Records level of misgovernance stems from a deep place of patriotism, no more. To give context, I had said upon assumption of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's administration, where I heard them announce an 8-point agenda, that is nothing but mere shadow chasing, and I'd counseled that they reduce that so-called 8-point agenda to a 3-point agenda. Number 1, poverty eradication and jobs creation. Number 2, availability of electricity. And then number 3, our crude oil and gas management, efficient and effective management of that sector. I had counseled that last year. But even now, I am prone to revise that suggestion, that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu should revise his agenda to just one, which is electricity availability and sufficiency. You know what I found out? Every civilized society, every nation of the world you can call civilized. I don't want to use the word advanced. I mean civilized, where people behave like actual human beings with minds. The notable, phenomenon in those countries is the availability of electricity to homes, to schools, to hospitals, and businesses. In all of this, Nigeria do not have electricity. So, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, if the only thing you achieve in the remainder and like your predecessors, engrossed in crisis management, if it's not Kajuru today, it is Kuriwa. If it's not that, it is Okoloma. If it's not Okoloma, it is Okwoma. If it's not that, it is Nigerian youth attacking warehouses for food or vandalizing food trucks. Crisis management. That is what Nigerian leaders have been doing since the era. The last government that actually governed for Nigeria was President Obasanjo. The rest administrations has been embroiled and spent their years in crisis management and shadow chasing. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, I want you to succeed. It is my desire and fervent hope that you succeed. That's why I do this. I have nothing against you as a person or as a leader. I just want you to succeed, and I'm passionate about this country. You have only barely 2 years left. We know that by 2026, it will be politics galore. So if you want to redeem yourself, declare an emergency in the electricity sector. Appoint capable person or persons to man that process and see it through. Give them, smart goals with clear and specific timelines. That is my advice to you, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. This sector, the electricity sector, is the trigger. It is a catalyst for nation building and for economic development. For as long as we refuse to do the right thing in this sector, and we continue with this, childish engagements of gathering together at the highest echelons of government to celebrate 20 megawatts of solar, signing ceremony, we're not going anywhere. And that is my closing statement. Thank you. Now, that's the program today. Remember to follow me on my various social media handles. Subscribe to my YouTube channel so you can watch this particular video and all the other videos that are there. Drop me a comment. I'd love to hear from you. Remember, like I always say, change requires action, and positive change requires positive action. I believe in a new Nigeria, and it is possible. Bye for now.